सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Okay, we'll start with chapter 15. Ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamoolamudashakam Ashvatam Pahuravyam Chandasi yasya parnani Yastam Veda Savedavet Adashchordam Prasutartasya Shaka Guna Pravada Vishaya Pravada Adashamula Nanusantatani Karmanubandini Manushya Loke Naru Brahmasye Tatopalabhyate Nanto Nachadir Nachasampratishta Ashvatamenam Savirudamulam Asangashastre Nidurena Chitva Tata Padam Tat Parimargatavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuya Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yatta Pravati Pasita Purani Nirmana Moha Chitasanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Dvande Vimukta Sukadukka Sanne Gacchanta Muda Palamavyayam Tat Natad Vasayate Suryo Nashashanko Napavaka Yadgadvana Nivartante Tadama Paramam Mama Mamevamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtanindriyani Prakruti Stani Karshati Shariram Yadavapnoti Yakchapakramateshvara Vihitvetani Semyati Vayurgandam Nivashena Shrotam Chakshusparshanam Cha Varshanam Granameva Cha Adhishtaya Manaschaya Vishayan Rupasevata Utkamantam Satam Papi Bunjanam Bhagunanvitam Vimudananu Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha Yatanto Yoginashchenam Pashyantyatma Navishtutam Yatanto Prakritatmano Nenam Pashyanti Chetasa Yadaditya Katam Tejo Jagad Bhashayate Kilam Yakshadamasi Yakshagno Tattejo Vidhi Mamakam Gama Vishya Chabhutani Dharayam Yahamojasa Pushnami Choshadi Sarva Somo Bhutra Rasatmaka Ham Veshvanaro Bhutra Pranina Dehamashata Pranapana Samayukta Pachanyanam Chaturvidam Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannivishto Mata Smatirnyanam Apohanam Cha Vedeshta Sarve Rahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham Dvaimo purusho loke ksharak chakshar evacha shara sarvani bhutani kutastoshar uchate uttama purushastanya paramatme tudarata yoloka trayamavishya vivartavyaya ishvara yasmacharamati akshara chotama atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottama Yomam evamasamudo janati purushottama sa sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanaga etad budva buddhimam shatkrita krityasya bharata.
Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottam Yoga Nama Panchadasho Adhyaya. Okay, let's get back to our chapter 9. Now we are at chapter 9. So we finished the slok number 23, if I remember it right. Am I right, Nanu? Slok 23, last class?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. So we were talking about that 23. Okay. So even those okay. So we were even those devotees who endow with faith, worship other God, for the personal interest. Right, we were talking about doing worship for personal interest. Worship me alone, though with a mistaken approach. So we were talking about this thing that even if somebody, devotees who are, asking for, getting their own, worshipping a God for personal motives, right? They also, when they worship, they get what they want, right? We have studied this many times. So they worship alone, and even there are a lot of people who go to temple, right? Not a lot of people ask for spirituality. They ask for something that they personally need in this life, as this body, mind and intellect. They need something here, so they ask for that. So whatever they ask, they get it. But if they ask for me, then they will get me. And in couple sloks later he talks about that. But we were talking about this thing that there are three kind of river. I was saying that the rishis has said that from in a human body there are three kind of river. The first is the knowledge river, the stream of knowledge, right? Then the second one is stream of actions that we do. So we know something, we do some actions. And then there is third one, that is a bhav, which is inner attitude. What inner attitude we are doing that action, and knowledge we are using that knowledge and doing the action. So that inner bhav, inner attitude that we are talking about, that's Rishi says the most important thing. What is the attitude we are doing this action with, right? If we are doing the action to hurt somebody, then that's inner attitude is, our bhav is to hurt somebody. So you have to make sure that sometimes, like let's say if you get into a fight with somebody, right? Now you are so enraged that you want to hurt this person, right? You are hurting you with that. So when you hit that person, you hit with the rage of hurting him, right? When a mom or a parent discipline you, and in that discipline, if they have to, hurt you in some way, their intent is not to hurt you. Their intent is, what is their inner bhav? To discipline you, to bring you to a right path, right? If you're going in a wrong path, your parent discipline you, and in that discipline probably they hurt you too. But that hurt is intent to make you better. So the both action has something to hurt somebody, but then intent makes it totally different, right? In the first intent, we really want to hurt that person because he hurt us, something bad, we want to hurt him for our personal intentions. Here a parent is hurting the child emotionally or physically or however, to bring him to discipline, to make him walk on the right path, right? So then the intent makes such a big difference, right? So always think about it, because and you can use these things also when you do worship. It's very important. Like, there are so many pujas, like, nowadays. In my days, I used to, when I was growing up, I was seeing there was lot of yagnas we used to do and lot of prayers we used to do. There was so much worshipping, there was so much mantra chanting, and everything was going on in our house as well as surrounding. Like, there was a lot. I have seen that decrease drastically, right? Not everybody does murti puja, not everybody does these yagnas, the big yagnas, not everybody do that anymore, right? And we are in this country where we don't see much, right? Even in India, we don't see it. Forget about that. We don't see much yagnas and much worshipping and, the mantras going on around us, right? So, and our Rishi 5,000, 10,000 years ago know that that decline will happen. There are so many stotra that you mentally actually pray to God. You don't have to physically do the Murti Puja. You can mentally, they have made all these stotra, Manas Puja, where you are not having water and putting on Shivji or milk or anything. You can mentally do that prayer. So it's mental intention matters a lot in those ages too, right? Where all these rituals were so important. Still, the Manas Puja means mental, Manas means mind. In mind, when you do worship, you can still worship God. You can still get to that point where, even doing all these pujas, we go to that point. You can also do mental worship. Your intent matters there, right? So that's what he is saying, that the desire, if you put your desire with the puja, that desire is fulfilled. If you put God on that worship, the most important part that you want to know is like, hey, I want to know God, or I want to merge in God. All those things, if you do with that intent, then you can go to that intent and you will achieve that part, right? So he's saying that intent is important, and our rishis also say the intent is more important than just doing the worship part, right? And if it become mechanical worship, then it's more this is always where I mess up. Oh. There's somebody logged in, right? Hold on. Is it taking me to that point? Look, can you add them in? Somebody is on there. Can you add it?
Are you sure someone?
I just heard the beep. I think Neha was.
Isn't it supposed to be right here? It's supposed to be like in call and then it's gonna
Yeah,
be...
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's
nobody
not
there.
okay. You can see me, right, guys? Right? Christian Alien?
Yeah.
20, thank you. 23rd. Okay, so you got that thing. So now make sure that you understand that the intent is more important than God is saying that what you know and what you do, it's important, but then what is the intent, that is also important. So all three things are important, and how you then, in this scenario what we are talking about, in every scenario it is important, but you know how you say that what is the intent of doing things make the whole difference definition of that action, right? So what is the intent? If you are doing something to come close to God, then that intent is good. If you are doing something that pulls you away from God, then that intent is wrong intent. So when you think about any action that you are taking, it's very good, like it's, if you look into worldly way and you think if something is right or wrong, there will be a lot of answers that will be both sides, right and wrong. But how do you figure out that whether this action is right or wrong? So if only one question you have to ask is this bringing me close to God, or is it bringing me away from God? So if it is answer is close to God, then you know that it is the right action. If it is bringing you away from God, then it is the wrong action. So simple definition, all your life keep that in mind. Anytime you have to make a decision between two separate ways to go, then if you cannot find the answer, this is ask this question. If that question give you the answer, then that's the right way to go. So again, this is, you can keep that in your mind all the time, how to figure out whether it is right or wrong, right? Got it? Okay. Always, in this path, we always say that when you row a boat initially, it's very hard because you want to row a boat to get into the stream. So whenever you start something, and think about whenever you start worshiping God, here is saying worship me, right? So he's saying that if you worship for your desire, then you get it, but if you worship for me, that's the highest level. So whenever you go from worship for desire to worship to meet God, that stream from here to here, it is a hard rowing. When you start rowing the boat, like when you start going to that level, it's very hard. But once the boat is in the current, then it's very easy. So to initiate something is very hard, but when it goes into the stream, regular stream, then the current can help you push through the road. So that's how God's worship starts. Like it's very hard to initially start, but when you start it, then it comes to the current, inflow of the current, and it takes you all the way to the top, right? Okay, let's go to shlok number 24. Shlok number 24. Okay, do you want to read it, Raja?
Ahim hi sarvayagnanam
Aham hi sarvayagnanam
bhokta cha prabhureva cha
bhokta cha prabhureva cha
na tu mam abhijananti
na tu mam abhijananti
tatven venatas vantite
tatve natascha vantite. Together.
Aham hi sarvayagnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha na tu mam
abhijananti
tatvenatascha vantite.
Word search.
Aham I, he surely serva of all, Yagnanam sacrifices, Bhokta the enjoyer, Cha and Prabhu the Lord, Eva also, Cha and Na not tu but Mami Abhijananti they know, tatvena in reality, ata therefore javanti fall down te de.
So what he is saying that I am the enjoyer. So he's talking about I am the enjoyer. I am also Lord of all the sacrifices, but they who do not know me in the reality as the supreme deity, they fall, that is, return to life of death and birth and death. So he's like, you will hear a lot about sacrifice here, fire sacrifice and stuff like that. Now think about those days. Those were the top of the worship level that everybody was doing. Sacrificing means the fire sacrifice and yagnas, and those were the way that they were worshiping God, right? So you understand that, and that era. So you will see a lot of talking about sacrifices and worship and yagnas and stuff like that. Slowly it changed into Murti Puja, and now slowly it's changing into Manas Puja, right? So think about it and correlate with that way. So when he says sacrifices and everything, you can think about the worship that we do nowadays, or we go to the temple and we hear those bhajans and those things. So it's a little bit change here, but again, if you look at it, you will understand the theme where it is coming from. So going back, so he's saying I am the enjoyer, and I am also the Lord of all the sacrifices, that all the yagnas that you are doing, or all the worships that you are doing. But they who do not know me in the reality of the supreme deity, what happens is those people fall into bad cycle of birth and death. So here is the thing, that with body-mind complex that we have, when we do any actions, right, using our knowledge, using our intellect, using our physical body, everything, we always result into two things, right? The result, there is always an action, and there is always the two way the result can go. Either it is sorrow or is it happiness. There is nothing else, right? It could be the sorrow would be really hard sorrow and a soft sorrow, or a less sorrow or something like that, or it's going to be less happiness and more happiness and really blast happiness, but it will always be, the result will be always this. Either it is sorrow or is it happiness. That's the only two, any actions that we do fall into that, right? So there is always an experiencer in us that experiences this sorrow and happiness, whatever result comes out of any of our actions, right? So it is always an experiencer. Now think about it, who is experiencing this thing? Who is the experiencer of that thing, right? Is your body experiencing? Is your mind experiencing? You think that my mind is experiencing that. But if you think that you have a mind, you have a brain, you have this body, but let's see, if you don't have the consciousness in you, would you experience that? If the consciousness is pulled out of your system, if the Atma is taken out of your system, will you experience the sorrow or happiness, or will you experience those things? Right now, so who is the experiencer? With who the experience is being experienced? It's the consciousness, right? So he is saying that I am the enjoyer. Enjoyer means experiencer. You can say that. Now, he enjoys sorrow and happiness. We don't, but he does, right? So he is saying I am the experiencer, or I am the enjoyer. So God inside us, he is experiencing all that, right? So when we talk about it, oh, I'm experiencing that, means there is this I, when we say, it's not I with this body-mind complex. It is the okay. So it is that consciousness that is experiencing. So he's saying I am the experiencer of anything that you experience. Then he says that I am the Lord of the sacrifices. So anything that you do, I am the Lord of it, right? But people who don't know that, people who don't believe in me, people who think about, just going to the God for personal motives, and go to the lower God to give all these desires that they need, then what happens is the karma keep on bounding them, and then because of that karma and the result of karma, you start being on this cycle of birth and death. You don't come out of that cycle, right? So understand, he is giving very straight path to moksha, right? If you are going to get into this level of things, then transactional level of the things, worldly level of the things, you're going to ask for all the desires to be fulfilled in this life, you're going to stay in this level of the thing, and then you're going to keep rotating in birth and death. But as soon as you increase just a little level and think about that everything I do, all the actions that I do is for God, then what happens is you are on the little bit higher level, and then the cycle that's going below, you come out of it. You propellate in the sky up high, that you don't have to get into the cycle of death and birth, right? So so he talks about that. Now okay, so that's what he's saying here. So again, he's giving it the people who don't know this, or people who take this thing as, so we can talk about Brahman, or we can talk about any of your Ishta Devata with Saguna Bhagwan, that if we go surrender it to him, we will come out of this cycle, and we will get the moksha. That he is talking about that in this slok. Okay, let's go to slok number 25. Who wants to read it? Krish, you want to take that one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yanti deva vrata devan.
Yanti deva vrata devan.
Pitran yanti pitru vrataha.
Pitrum yanti pritavrata.
Bhutani yanti bhuteja.
Bhutani yanti bhuteja.
Yanti madhyajino bimam.
Yanti madhyajino bimam. Together.
Yanti deva vrata devan. Pitrun yanti pritavrata. Bhutani yanti bhuteja. Yanti madhyajino bimam.
What?
Yanti go Devavrata, worshippers of demigods, Devan to the demigods, Pitrun to the ancestors, Yanti go Pritavrata, worshippers of ancestors, Bhutani to the ghosts and spirits, Yanti go Bhuteja, worshippers of ghosts and spirits, Yanti go Matma Yajna, devotees, Api but Mam unto me.
Oh, very simple slok, but very nice slok. It's very simple because it says, we have discussed this many times, so I will be very quick on this one. So it says that those who are worshipping those who worship demigods, smaller gods, go to the god, like go to those ones. Those who worship mains, they go to mains. Those who worship spirits, they go to spirits. Those who worship me, come to me. Right? So that is why my devotee are no longer subject to birth and death. So he says, whatever you worship, that's what you go to. Right? So if you worship the desires and stuff like that, and you do good deeds, you go to heaven where there is all desires fulfilled. Like it's a perfect place, you get all the luxury, you don't have to worry about anything, everything is given it to you. That's the picture of heaven, right? So you go to that level, right? So whoever, like, you worship all your time, you worship wealth, then you get abundance of wealth, and you were good, foundation should be right. You should not hurt anybody, or you should not be stealing something, or all those basic foundation should be right. But if you worship wealth, you go to wealth. You worship knowledge, you went to knowledge. You worship whatever you worship, you get that. In this, it talks about if you worship your forefathers, which is ancient people, or your generation, your forefathers, you worship them, you go to them. If you worship all the spirits, all the the mains, whatever you worship, you go to them, right? So whatever stays in your mind, that's what you become. In last chapter we said at the end of the death, whatever you think, that's what you become, right? That's where you go. So he's again emphasizing that whatever you think, whatever you worship, that's what you become, that's where you go. Now he says that if you worship me, then you come to me. Me means, again, make sure that you understand, me is not only Krishna as a human form. Me is the Lord, your Ishta Devta, whatever Devta you connect with. Or, well, we talk about Brahman, right? So what happens is, if it's Brahman you don't worship, you realize it, that what you are. So as you realize that part, what happened? You become Brahman. You understand that you are nothing other than Brahman, right? So that happens. Or if you worship Shiva or Rama or Krishna, whoever you worship, right? If you worship, you go to them, right? So then what happens is you merge with them. That's what he's saying. And that's where all your karmas are expired. All your results of karma expires. And then no result of birth and death comes back in the cycle. So everything gets off. If whoever you worship, that's what you get. So if you worship, but then you go to heaven, you come back, right? As soon as your all the deeds are over, all your good deeds are over, you are thrown back to earth, right? So that's what happened. So we have to think about it. Now what we want to achieve, right? If you want to achieve all the desires that are worldly, then you will stay here, because you will go where what you're worshiping, and you're going to keep staying here. If you worship for the higher level, then you go to higher level and you worship that, right? Good. Okay. So it's again, make sure that he also emphasizes very much on constantly and regularly, consistently. You cannot do that. I am worshipping Shiva today very hard, and then tomorrow I'm worshiping somebody else, and day after tomorrow I'm worshiping somebody else, or day after tomorrow my desire change, I'm worshiping this, day after tomorrow my desire change, I start worshipping this. So that cannot happen. It has to be consistent, it has to be regular, right? So that's why in Hindu we came up with the Ishta Devta thing, right? It's very whatever you connect with, like connect with Hanuman, then keep that in your mind all the time, right? If you connect with any god, or if you connect with knowledge that I am Brahman, then have that thought constantly and continuously. And God talks about this in all the shlokas. You have seen that same pattern, one pointedness, concentrated on them, and that's where you go to that very much one pointed focus on that God, on that worship, or on that knowledge that you are Brahman. If you concentrate on that, that's where you end up going, or that's where you end up achieving, right? Okay, next three shlokas, 26, 27 and 28 are beautiful shlokas where he describes what should you do, what action you should take, and what is the result of those actions. So he gives you the basic idea of everything. Then he says what is it, what action you should be taking, and what results you will get. And in olden days when they used to do all these yagnas, and in when the time when we are talking in Gita, at that time it was like huge yagnas, and you would have seen in Mahabharata show and Ramayana shows, when they do yagnas, it's like humongous, big, and a lot of people are invited, and it's a huge expense, right? It's a big expensive thing. And when you do pujas right now also, if you do pujas, it's an expensive thing. Like you call everybody, there is a lot of pandit comes, then they do a lot of samagri, means things we need in yagnas to put it in. So it's an expensive thing, right? So now we are talking about another level higher, right? These things are there, sacrifices, everything is there, worship is there, and now we are talking about another higher level, where we are saying that go to the higher level, right? Not just the material stuff that we need higher level stuff. So what that is should be more expensive, more intense, more you have to get into so much into it to get to the next level, right? The difficulty level hires up, like as we pass the level 1, when we go to level 2, the difficulty level gets higher. So everybody will question, when you are going from this level to that level, how higher and how difficult it will be. Here God says no, it's actually simpler than that. It's very simple than that. So let's read slok number 26. Alia, you want to take that, Raja? Verse 26? Yeah. Okay.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhakta prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti upartam.
Tadaham bhaktya upadhyatam.
Asnami prayatatmanaha.
Asnami prayatatmana. Very good. Together.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhaktyupahatam. Asnami prayatatmana. Patram, a leaf, pushpam, a flower, phalam, a fruit, toyam, water, whoever, me unto me, bhaktya, with devotion, prayachiti, offers, that aham, I, bhakti, uparatam, offered in devotion, asnami, accept, prayata, atmana, from one in pure consciousness.
Okay. So he is saying, whosoever offer me with love. Now with love, make sure underline that. With love or with devotion. So that's important. A leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a water. I appear in person before that selfless devotee of sinless mind and delightfully partake of the article offered by him with love, right? So what he's saying is, now it's not a big thing that he wants, and again, this is the ritual. They think about that. The people who he's addressing, Arjuna, he's so deep into these rituals, right? We do all these rituals. At that time, the ritual was the big thing, right? Doing all these yagnas and all these pujas were big thing, right? So think about, for that person, God is saying that with love, even if you give me one leaf, like one, he mentioned one leaf, a leaf, like a leaf, one leaf, right? One flower, a fruit, a water, right? In Shivji we put water on them, right? So fruit, water. He says that for this person, if you do with devotion and love, right, I just don't grant it, I eat it, I take it, I actually take it. If I just don't just take it, but I eat it also. I with this sinless mind, with this devotee who give this thing, I take it and I keep it with me, right? So he's not just saying that I am taking it, I am actually keeping with me. And he's saying just simple things, right? And that's where I was saying that Manas Puja comes in. Like, in your mind, if you think that you are giving God a flower or a leaf, Shivji, we put Bili Patra on them. Vishnu, we put Tulsi Patra on them, right? Ganeshi have Durva. All these things we give it to God with devotion. So he's saying, I don't need elaborated puja. Don't worry about giving me all these things, right? A lot of you guys ask me, like, how will we continue doing these pujas? We don't even know what to do, how to do it. In this, Krishna Bhagavan clearly says, even if you don't know how to do it, don't worry about it. With your intent, remember that intent, the love, the devotion. If you give me even one flower, I will be happy and I will be with you all the time. You don't have to give me all these pujas and all these prayers, right? There are a lot of stories related to this shloka in Mahabharata, in our Bhagavatam and all those. There are a lot of stories about this shloka, that God doesn't need much, right? He doesn't need anything. He just needs your love. Now, this could be objects that we are talking about, the flowers and the fruits and the stuff like that. You will think that, oh, God is saying that give me with love these things, these objects. But for God, you will see in next couple shlokas that it doesn't matter the object. It doesn't at all matter what is the object. It's the love that matters to him. It's the devotion that he's saying, that devotion is important. Now think about that. So there was a story that one time when Draupadi and 5 Pandavas were on exile, so they were they were in one of the forest, and they were sitting, and they get food from going place to place and asking for food, and whatever food they get it, they eat it. Draupadi makes it in one of the Bartan utensils that she had, and everybody eats it, and then at the end she eats it, and it was never leftover. There was no leftover, because that's the only much. Sometimes it's less than what they eat, but they used to eat whatever they get, and that was it. So it was never leftover, nothing remaining. One time, all these saints, known for they come at the end moment of something. So this saint, Durvasha, he was actually known for his anger too, right? He was known for his, all these saints in the olden days are known for their anger. They get the lot of knowledge and their attitude changes, right? They become more, they get this on their head, and they become, they get this anger and stuff like that. You will hear that in a lot of stories. So he came with all his devotee, like hundreds of his devotee came, and he came to meet them, and he said, okay, we're gonna go and take a bath in the river next, in the river, and then we will come back. So make sure the food is ready for us. Now Draupadi was like, they already finished eating and they came. So there was nothing there. There was nothing there, and there was no time to go get it or ask for food with the villagers. So now she was so worried, like how will she feed 100 of saints that came to visit them? But we never let the guest go without eating. So she was so much worried. She said, how will I get the food? There is no food. And she checked the pot that she was making. There was nothing remaining, and there were so many people that came to eat. And she came to the god, and she remembered Krishna, and she said, Krishna, please help me. I don't have anything. And what happens is Krishna is walking in the door, right? And he said, Krishna comes and said, how God tests their bhaktas. and he came inside and he said, I'm hungry, Draupadi, bring some food. So now Draupadi will say, oh my God, I was remembering him to come out of this issue, and he is actually came in and said, I'm hungry, give me food, right? Now Draupadi was very said, I don't have any food. For Krishna, he could talk like, they can talk like this, that I don't have any food, what should I bring? I don't have anything in my house. And that's why I was asking, because to you to come and help me with this, because there are so many rishis that I have to feed them. So Krishna says, go look, there is in your pot, there is a one grain on the bottom of the pot. Bring me that. So Draupadi goes there and sees, so there was one grain that was at the bottom of the pot, and she brings that grain to him, to Krishna, and give it to him. And she was very feeling shy and feeling bad that she's giving one grain to Krishna to eat. And Krishna happily took that one grain and put it in his mouth. And he said, oh, I'm so full. And Parvati was very shy, Draupadi was very feeling bad about it. And Krishna said, no, I'm so full, rubbing on his tummy. Oh, the food was so good and I'm so full. What impact that happens, that all those 100 rishis that were taking shower, when they came out of it, when God ate and he was full, all the rishis felt they were full. So when they came out, they said, oh, we don't have any room to eat anymore because we are already full. And they went away. They said, thank you for hosting us, but we are so full, we cannot eat anything. And they left. So it just shows that, if God is full, then everybody felt full. That was the story to say that even with one grain, God can be fulfilled. God can be satisfied, right? So here God says, even one fruit, if you give it to me with love. Like, so when Draupadi gave that one grain with love, with devotion to Krishna, the whole entire universe started feeling full. When the God was satisfied, the entire universe be satisfied, right? Another picture you would have seen, it's a symbolic of, I don't know, if you Google it, you will find it. There is an elephant holding a lotus to the sky, and his one foot is in the lake where the crocodile is pulling the leg back, and the elephant with his trunk up holding a lotus, and you see Vishnu in the sky. There is a symbol of that. So the story was, there was an elephant who was devotee of Vishnu, and he used to always pick one lotus flower from the lake and give it to Vishnu every day, every morning. And one day when he was going to pick the lotus, a crocodile comes and pull his leg. But he had that lotus flower on his trunk, so when he was trying to save himself, he pulled that lotus flower and said, Vishnu, take this flower from me, because now next time I will not be able to give it to you because this crocodile will eat me up. And then Vishnu comes and Vishnu sees that flower, take that flowers, and then the Vishnu has the Sudarshan chakra on his finger, the circling disc, so that he throws it to the crocodile, and crocodile leaves the feet of elephant, and the elephant moves on. So, but the symbol was that we as an elephant, here symbol is we are the elephant, the crocodile and the lake is samsara, is the world, all the material stuff keeps pulling us down, and the God is sitting there, and when we just give a devotion, we give a lotus, just one flower with devotion to God, God tries to save us and pull us out of this samsara and take us with him. So it's a symbol, but you will see in many of the pictures that this symbol is shown in our, in some of the temples, this picture you will see painted on the wall. I have seen in one of the temple where it is painted, and I always think that, what is a symbol? But it is saying that devotion to God, even with just a flower, if you give it with love, then God will be there to save you, or God will be there always with you, and it's going to take care of you, right? And previous slokas we already read that God is there to take care of you, to carry you, not even take care of you, he will carry you from everywhere. If you just do one pointed devotion to him, he will take care of you, don't worry about it, right? So that was the story. Sometimes we say that this is the only way to do that. In Vedas, when you go to Karma Kanda section of the thing, like Karma Kanda means the ritual section of the part, and in our Vedas there is very strict rules, right? I was saying that this is the only way you can put the flowers, this is the only way you should do it, this is the only way you should put the milk on the Shivji, or this is the only way you do Bili Patra on Shivji. There is always a way given, like very strict rules given, right? This is the way you should be doing all the rituals, right? When you are following for something that you want, you have to follow the strict rules that are given in all the pujas, right? You cannot change the rules. Like, even if you put the bindi to God, you have to use right hand, you have to use this finger to put the bindi to God, right? So everything is followed by a rule. You have to do it by rules, right? Here, when it comes to that, it says, if you have that devotion, that love, it doesn't matter how you do it, right? Then you just do it for him, right? When these things happen, there is many times we read these mantras wrong, right? The words wrong, and I do the most, right? Among all of you, I do the most wrong pronunciation and stuff like that. If you do this to fulfill your desire, some kind of worldly desire, I'm wrong, totally. You cannot even get that desire. You will never get the grant of that desire. But if you do those things with devotion, then these mistakes God takes care of it. Then God doesn't mind that. God doesn't feel bad about it. Or God will say, no, you are not doing it right way. This is not the right way. No, if you do it with love and devotion, he will take care of you. But the point is that you are doing it for him to reach to that level, the higher one, right? We are not talking about this level, but you want to go to this level, then you have to strictly follow the rules, right? You have to say the mantras right, you have to pronounce it right, you have to sing it right, you have to do everything right. But if you are doing with love and devotion, then you reach to that level, and God will take care of you, right? So that's what he's saying here. Even the little things, he's saying, I don't want the elaborated thing, I just want these little things, right? Okay, so then it comes to is there anything here? No. Okay, so let's go to slok number 27. Oh, it's already 9:26. Okay, so let's go read the slok number 27, and then we will end the thing.
Slok number 27 is.
Huh?
I already know.
Okay. Reha, you want to read that? Slok 27?
Sure.
Okay.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi
Yat karoshi yadasnashi
yajjunoshi dadasiyat
Yajjahoshi dadasiyat
yat tapasyasi kaunteya
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya
tat kurushva madarpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Together.
Yat karoshi yadasnashi Yajjahoshi dadasiyat Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Okay, so this is one of the shloks that we sing before eating food. So this is very important shlok for people who are, I would say householder people, right? This shlok is being used many times and to different things. Now he's saying, how should you do it? So this is the how thing, right? So what was it? Now he's saying, okay, one flower, one fruit, one leaf, you can do it to me with devotion. So he gave that thing that, okay, this is what we need. Now how should we do it, right? So this shlok gives you the meaning of how should we do it. Nanu, can you do the words first?
Yat whatever karoshi you do, yat whatever ashnashi you eat, yat whatever jahoshi you offer, tadasi you give away, yat whatever tapasyasi austerities you perform, Konteya, O son of Kunti, that Kurushva do mat unto me arpanam as an offer.
As an offer, right? So now he is talking about 5 things what you should be doing. Remember here this thing. So Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as oblation or to the fire, to the sacred fire, whatever you bestow as a gift, whatever you do by way of penance, do that as an offering to me. So he's talking about 5 different things that you do. And again, we need to keep that mind in that age of time. So all these things, do it keeping me in mind, or do it to me, right? So these 5 things, whatever you are doing, do it as offering to me. So whatever actions we do, right? Any actions that we do, the actions and results of action bind us to samsara, right? Or anything we do, we bind ourselves to samsara. That's the same thing. If we do offering to God, that's actually take us away from samsara. So same thing can pull you in samsara. Same thing, samsara means world, right? Same thing can pull you to samsara. Same thing, just the intent is changed, it pulls you off of samsara. So it's a deep thing that how in this world we should live, right? So anything that we do, keeping in mind as worldly thing, then it's going to pull you down. If you do the same thing with intent of offering to God, then it pulls you out of samsara. We will discuss this shlok again next week because it's an important shlok, and it's the thing that we practically can do it, like, in our mind, in our things. So if we don't even get time to sit in front of God and do all these mantras, these are the things that God gave us to how we can do the life without, sitting in front of God and worshipping all those mantras. So it is very good, a practical thing to do it. So we will discuss this again. Okay, let's close. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamshichanuramadanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Krishna Arpanamastu.